All right, boys and girls. So, in this rotation, you guys are going to be taking a trip to the spa. And I know that when I go to the spa, it's a time to relax, it's a time for no stress. All I think is, what you're going to be doing today, guys, is estimating products. And I call estimating products a trip to the spa because if you're asked to find the actual product of an answer, you know you're going to have to work hard and put in a lot of effort. But if you ever see the word estimate, that word tells you it is nothing but a relaxing trip to the spa. Now, let me explain to you what estimating products means. Estimating products is a combination of using two of our shortcuts. And so, since shortcuts are short, when you put two of them together, it is still a quick and easy skill. And you can see from this little chart here that estimating products combines box and dot, which is a very quick shortcut, and rounding using who's the boss, which is also a very quick shortcut. And when you put these two shortcuts together, it's just a nice, easy trip to the spa. And so, what you guys need to realize is that a lot of kids and grown-ups, I think too, confuse the words round and estimate, and they think that they mean the same thing. We talked about that when you're rounding numbers, your answer is around the original number. When you estimate, you are finding out about what the answer would be. And so we actually use rounding in order to estimate. So they don't mean the same thing, but they are definitely connected. We round numbers in order to estimate. And since we're combining this with box and box and dot means can only be used as a shortcut with multiplication, we are going to combine that box and dot and rounding so that we are estimating products. Product simply means the answer to a multiplication problem. And so here's what I mean by a trip to the spa. If I asked you to find out the exact answer to 78 times 43, it would be a lot of work. You would have to work hard. It would take you a lot of time. It would be work. But if I simply ask you to estimate the product. That means I don't care what the actual answer is. I just want to know about what the answer is going to be. And that means we don't have to do a lot of work at all. We're going to simply combine rounding and box and dot to find out about what the answer is going to be. So we're going to actually start by rounding, and we're actually going to round each of our factors. And I know that with before, to figure out who the boss is, you simply had to look what place value we're rounding to. When we are asked to estimate, just round to the greatest place value there is. And we want to figure out a number that is around that factor. So since the greatest place value we have is the tens place, I'm going to round 78 to the nearest 10. And I can see the boss will get a raise because the right-hand man is an 8. So we're going to change 78 to 80. And what we're saying is 78, it's around 80. We're going to do the same thing to the factor 43. He does not get a raise because 3 is not a 5 or above. And so the 4 is going to stay the same and the 3 is going to get fired. And we're going to say, 43, it's around 40. And now you can see I have turned this hard, difficult problem that would take a lot of time and a lot of work, and I've rounded off our factors, and now this becomes a simple, quick, shortcut box and dot problem. 8 times 4 I know is 32, and I have two zeros here. And so I know that if I were to take the time to solve 78 times 43, I know the answer would be about 3,200. But I didn't have to put in any of that hard work. I just did a quick rounding to each factor so that I could do a quick box and dot. That is estimating. So let me show you this one. Again, we are going to round each factor so that we can find out around what that factor is, and we can do a quick box and dot. So I'm going to go ahead and round 329 to the nearest 100 because that's the greatest place value. I know we're not going to get a raise, so the 3 is going to stay the same, and we're going to fire those digits to zeros. So I know that 329, it's around 300. Now, here's the best part. If I were going to try and round a one-digit number, I don't have a right-hand man, which means we don't round one-digit numbers at all. They just stay the same. I know 9 is close to 10, but 9 is still a very easy number to box and dot with. So if you have a one-digit number, just keep it the same. You don't need to round it at all. And by doing our quick shortcut of rounding, we have now created an easy box and dot problem. So we can use that shortcut. I know 3 times 9 is 27. Add 2 zeros. And what that means, guys, is if I were to take the time to solve 329 times 9, that would be a lot of work and take a lot of effort. But just a quick rounding and a quick box and dot, I know the answer would be about 2,700. Let's look at this one. This, oh my gosh, this is a 2-digit by 3-digit problem. If I were to find the actual answer, this would take a lot of work. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round each factor very, very quickly. 29 rounded to the nearest 10 because that's the greatest digit. That would be 30. 123 rounded to the nearest 100 because that's the greatest place value we have. Well, that's going to be 100. So I know 29 is around 30, and I know 123 is around 100. Now I have so quickly, with that easy shortcut, created a simple box and dot problem. 3 times 1 is 3. 1, 2, 3 zeros. I know that it would take me many minutes to solve 29 times 123, but in less than 20 seconds, I'm able to tell you that the final answer would be about 3,000. That is the art of estimating. We have estimated the answer or found out about what the answer would be with a quick trip to the spa. Let me just show you one more and then you'll get to try some. I'm going to round each of these factors to the greatest place value. 3,489. Well, the right-hand man does not earn the boss a raise. So 3,489, that's about or around 3,000. I don't have to round single digit numbers because they're easy enough to work with as it is. There is no right-hand man to use. So we're just going to keep the 3 the same. I have now created very quickly an easy box and dot problem. 3 times 3 is 9, and then 1, 2, 3 zeros. Gosh, it would have taken me a while to figure out what the actual answer would have been. But in just a few moments, I was able to tell you that the answer is about 9,000. That is estimating. Quick trip to the spa. On your packet, or I should say in your packet, you have this section, and you're going to do 3 problems where you're going to pause the video, solve it just like I modeled, and then you'll play the video to check to see if your answer is correct. And you're going to do that 3 times. So here is where you're going to pause the video for the first time. Please copy the problem onto your paper because you don't have it in front of you. And you are going to then round each factor if you need to round it. And then when you're done and you think you know about what the answer would be, hit play and I'll talk you through the steps and we'll see how you were. So go ahead and pause the video, work through pause number 1. Okay, so you should have solved this problem, copied 456 times 5 onto your paper. And we know that estimating, we're going to round each factor if we need to. You should have had 456. You should have shown the boss here is the 4, the greatest place value. And we're going to round this by looking at the right-hand man. The right-hand man is a 5, which means the 4 absolutely earns the boss a raise. And when we fire the tens place and the ones place, we know that 456 is around 500. Hopefully, you realized 5 is a one-digit number. There is no right-hand man. A 5, we don't need to round it because it's already easy to work with. The purpose of rounding when you're estimating is to make an ugly number like 456 an easy number to work with, like 500, a number with lots of zeros. And so we're going to be able to keep 5 the same. And so hopefully on your paper, you have the problem 500 times 5 after you're done rounding. You are then able to box and dot. Box the fact and multiply. 5 times 5 is 25 with 2 zeros tacked on to the end. And you should know that when you take a quick trip to the spa, the answer is going to be, if I did make you find out what it is, would be about 2,500. Now, if you didn't understand that fully, hopefully this time you're a little bit more successful. Go ahead and pause the video, please, and um, copy the problem 62 times 19 onto your paper, and we'll chat through it once you hit play. All right, so hopefully you took some time. You're going to round each factor, in this case to the nearest 10, because that's the greatest place value. The boss does not get a raise here, so this would stay a 6, and so 62 is around 60. I'm going to do the same thing with 19. The boss does get a raise, and we know 19 is around 20. And we should see on your paper the problem 60 times 20. We're no longer looking at the complicated problem 62 times 19. It's now a simpler problem, 60 times 20. And now it's so simple, we can box and dot. 6 times 2 is 12, and we have 2 zeros there. And so what we've done, guys, is we've rounded so that we can box and dot, and that helps us to estimate and find out that if we did get the actual answer, it would be close to or about 1,200. We were able to figure that out in seconds. All right, this is your pause number 3. You're going to go ahead and copy the problem 199 times 28 onto your paper, and then hit play. All right, so we're going to round these two factors here so we can estimate the product. We know 199, we know that is close to 200, which should make sense to you. We also know that 28, when we round it to the nearest 10, that is close to or around 30. And what we've done is we've taken these ugly numbers, and by rounding them, we've simply made them into nice, neat, easy numbers, numbers that we can box and dot to estimate. I know very easily that 2 times 3 is 6, and now I'm going to count my zeros and I can see 3. And so I will tell you, to solve and get the actual answer for 199 times 28 would take a lot of work and a lot of effort. But just with a quick trip to the spa, by combining 2 of our shortcuts, we are able to say in moments that the answer would be about 6,000. Now, this is just a preview of a trip to the spa. This is going to be our main focus of class tomorrow. So if you're understanding, awesome. If you're not, we'll go over it more later. Now, I am going to backtrack here. Now that you are here, you can, if you have any time remaining in this rotation, follow the directions. You're going to go to Freckle, and if you need the class code, it's there. And you're going to work on fact practice. And I gave you some images of what you need to click on. And if you even have more time, you can just explore through Freckle more. So thank you for working with me today, and I'll see you in a different rotation.